With the eyes of the world landing on human rights, the kingdom of God wants to make something clear. There is something known as the human right. The writer of John in chapter 1 said this, "To those who believed in his name, he gave them the right to be called children of God." Right now, we are serious about equipping a generation to be fluent in the gospel. As this generation is passionate about works of justice, we want to make sure that we send a clear message. The greatest injustice that exists in the world is for someone to die without ever hearing the gospel. Our context is a global context, and regardless of what nation someone resides in or what language they speak, everybody finds their attention focused on this one thing: how can my life matter? What would happen if we paused and we celebrated our heritage, but we also understood that the next chapter in the story really is up to us? We're getting ready to introduce this generation to a concept known as the human right, where we understand that feeding those who are hungry is paramount, equipping those who need clean drinking water is more than important. But at the end of the day, we come together as a movement because we are called to go into all nations and make disciples. Will you please commit to pray with us? When things are born of the Spirit, then we produce fruit that remains. During our National Fine Arts Festival, we will introduce our movement to the human right and summon them to believe God for the impossible. And at the same time, Dr. Wood, on the closing night of the centennial, will summon the Assemblies of God World Fellowship to do the same thing, to come alongside this generation of students and say yes to join the human right. A few other things I'd like you to consider and pray about would be, in October of this year, we are going to release the Human Right album, and all proceeds will go to Speed the Light. We are also launching an aggressive national tour where we crisscross the country with a full-time team as we go to large cities, large churches, small churches, anywhere and everywhere in between. And we try to create a viral grassroots conversation, which is what took place 100 years ago when our movement was initially founded. To know Jesus and make him known is the human right. This is so much more than a theme. This is much more than a tagline that we are adding to a program. But prayerfully, we believe God that he will fold the human right into the core DNA of the future of not just teenagers, but of our movement as a whole. It's an honor to serve with you and to introduce this generation of millennials to the human right, which is to know Jesus and to make him known.